Okay, tonight we're going to concentrate on setting database permissions in PowerShell. And this is actually going to be pretty cool. It's going to be almost exactly like the one we did just a bit ago about granting schema permissions, except you need a different object for this one. So you can't just use the exact same code, but the code is going to change so little, it's going to be mind-boggling. But and I really struggled on whether or not to put this in the same video or not, just make it another section in the video. But being task-oriented, it wouldn't really pop out at you right away. If you were looking for a way to change database permissions, it wouldn't really pop out at you right away to look for that in a schema video. So I decided to make another one. So we're right here. We're in databases. We right-click and go to Start PowerShell. I'm going to whiz through this one just a little bit faster and explain it a little bit less than I did the last one because you know, you can go watch the other one on changing schema, on granting schema permissions, and it'll explain all of that stuff a lot more than I'm going to here. Also, the video on changing job owners explains a lot of this as well. So here you're going to start off with the reflection assembly. You're going to load your assembly right there, colon. If I'd open the parentheses, open, close, dot, and then I believe go to soft.smo, load our assembly. There we go. The fact that that I get something back here means that it loaded successfully. So now I've got to create a new variable, and I've got to set it to a new object. I'm going to use S again. Equals new object, and that new object is going to be of type Microsoft SQL Server dot O dot. Oh, wait a minute, I was nice to you last time. I'll do it again this time. So you need a database permission set. What did I do wrong? Oh, yep, that'll do it. I typed so many S dots before. Equals. Well, let's assign it to something. There we go. So now, same thing as I did before. I can come here and I can see all the properties that I can set, right? So these are database level permissions, right? So let's go ahead and set select, execute, and view definition, just because we can, right? So again, I'll show you the how to get a child object and pipe it to the get member so you can see the methods that are available for these guys. Wow, there sure are a lot of them. I don't even know if we can get back up there. And the one we're going to be looking at, these are all properties, the one we're going to be looking at is grant right here. And you can see again it's overloaded, right? And overloaded just means, again, overloaded just means that there are several ways you can call it. You can call it with a number of with different numbers of parameters. So you can call it with no parameters or one parameter or three parameters. Okay, and of course you can't just pick the number of parameters. I mean they have to have coded those overloads. But that's what overloaded means, is just that you can call it with a number of different parameters. So now we got that. We're going to get a child object. We're going to pipe it to a for each. We've got our little loops there. And remember, $_ is the current iteration. I'm going to call the grant. Actually, I'm getting way ahead of myself, aren't I? I need to set my variable first. So I need to set s.select equal to true, and then I need to set s dot, what did I say, execute equal to true, and then s dot definition equal to true, and I can check all of those. Coming right here, I've got execute, select, and view definition, all of them equal true. Good. Now I can get my child object, pipe it to my for each. So I'm saying for each one of those, I want to take the current one, which is $_ call the grant method, close those, and for that grant method I'm going to call one of the overloads, which is passing the parameters and the user account you want to have that name. So this guy right here, $S, is going to be, we're going to pass it $S, which includes all of these guys we just set to true, and then comma, and then a text string with the username that you want to actually grant these permissions to. And again, I'll show you what we're looking for here. Now we're doing this for all the databases, but you can filter out the databases you want, right? You notice how there are no permissions defined here. And so with this guy, I'm going to come here. You still have to commit it. So again, I use my statement terminator there, my semicolon, and then I'm going to call the alter, which is really a very malshapen commit, and it returns instantly. Wow, that was fast. I hope it did something. There we go, and amazing. I've got my permissions now, and they're set to execute, select, and view definition. So perfect, right? And I've got it on every single database. I don't have to check every single one of them to make sure that it's got what I wanted. Now, let's say I wanted to remove a permission, right? I want to remove view definition because, say, this is a web application, and we just saw, oh my God, we've got view definitions on here. So, looking at $S again, I've got all these guys set to true. But remember from the last video, that doesn't mean that by setting this to false, I'm going to toggle it to false in the database. That's not what that means. It means that this means true or false. These are the ones that I want to be set by my method. So when I come here, remember, I'm calling the grant method. So do I want to grant it? True. Do I want to grant it? True. Do I want to grant it? True. Do I want to grant it? False. No, I don't want to grant it. But not wanting to grant it does not mean you want to revoke it. So if I want to revoke permissions, I have to call the revoke method. And I'm going to revoke all of them if I don't set this properly, so I'm glad I remembered that. So I do want to revoke view definition. I don't want to revoke execute, right? And I don't want to revoke select, false. So now I'll do this again. The only thing that that is true that I want to revoke is view definition. So now I come back up here. Maybe I have to go down with that. Nope, it's up. There we are. So I need to change my grant. Oddly enough, I would say, now, what do you think the revoke method is? Of course it's revoke, but commit is alter, so there we go. And I gotta go check it now. Where am I? Right there. And you see that view definition is now gone. So that's how you do this at a database level. And if you don't call that alter, it will not commit. As a matter of fact, your PowerShell, your local PowerShell session here will cache it, and you will see the changes in your PowerShell window, but they will not be persisted to the database. If you shut down that PowerShell window or open up a different PowerShell window, you will get what is actually being reflected from the database. Or if you just refresh the current PowerShell window, right, you will get what is actually being reflected in the database. So unless you call that alter, you are making no changes whatsoever. But anyway, that's a good way to cycle through all the databases and grant whatever permissions you like to whomever you like, and it's a lot shorter code than T-SQL. Knock yourself out.